What time is it? It's Legacy Boxing Showcase of New Mexico. Welcome, boxing fans in New Mexico. This is Dennis D.C. Chavez. We're here at Proview Sports Network, Channel 26, throwing out another great show. Our 15th show. I can't believe it, man. We're just awesome. It's just, we're so proud. So many things in the boxing world has been happening, man. I'm telling you, amateurs, pros, MMA, contact sports is blowing up in New Mexico. Very excited. We've got a lot to talk about. Tonight, we're going to have a different format. My co-host could not make it tonight, but I have a great friend that stepped in, and he's so knowledgeable. He covers all boxing sports on ESPN Radio. He has his own website. This guy is just so intelligent. We're going to have a lot of fun, and we're going to talk about boxing, and I'd like to introduce to you boxing fans in Mexico. He's been on our show before. He's a consultant. I always go to him on knowledge and history, and his name is Austin Keeling. Austin, welcome aboard.
Thank you, Dennis. Good to see you again.
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. Tonight, it's all about boxing. Last time we had a show, of course, we had tragedy and triumph. We had Fidel Maldonado, and WBC champ got the strap, which is cool. Right, and of course, and then our promoter from Perez Group and all that Legacy Group, Eric Martinez, passed away. We did a dedication to him, and I got to tell you, Perez Promotions Collisions voted number one. I forgot to get that in, and you guys know the show. It's just this is just great stuff. Austin, let's talk boxing, man. First of all. Austin Trout's going to be fighting, putting us on the map again. And then, of course, Jones put us on the map this last weekend. And Cody East, he got the strap, heavyweight, Victor, combat sports in New Mexico from boxing to MMA blowing up. But, this is more of a boxing show, but we do give them respect. That's why we're giving them a shout out, But you cover a lot of boxing. You just covered a great show. Can you tell us about that show that you just covered recently?
I can't remember. Isidro Castillo was the matchmaker and promoter. And it was an unusual show because the total records of all the fighters on the card added up to 8 wins, 31 losses, and 4 draws.
You're kidding me.
So people would say, well, that's a terrible show. But the first rule of boxing, the 2 guys coming out of the corner should be evenly matched.
Okay.
And that's what Eric did. The main event involved John Herrera and Gene Perez, who I'm sure you've seen.
Yes, Gene's very well.
But neither one has won a fight in 5 years.
They needed a win.
What a fight they had.
Really? Was it good?
Terrific. Perez, who's not considered a banger, dropped Herrera in the very first round. By the end of the 3rd round, he was way ahead.
Oh, he needed a win.
But then Herrera staged a comeback.
He came back?
And I thought Herrera looked like he was close to knocking him out. And it ended in a 6-round unanimous decision. Our girl, Esther Williams, had it 4 rounds to 2 for Perez. Another Perez, who was Joe Perez from Las Cruces, he had it 3 each, which I did.
Okay.
But with the knockdown, we both felt that Gene was the winner. And Juan Nunes had it, all the rounds went to Gene Perez.
Was good boxing fans down there that way? Good crowd, all that?
They were in the black. They made money.
Oh,
so
nice.
Now he wants to come back and stage another show, maybe late November, early December.
Awesome. What about the other fighters, the undercard? How'd that go?
There's most of these fighters obviously are not Albuquerque fighters, but Oscar Espinoza, who has been given opportunities to fight for Castillo, he now is 2-1. He scored a nice knockout. He was fighting an MMA fighter. He found himself pinned on the ropes, and the guy was throwing leather. And Oscar was cool. He just went into a defensive mode, and then he saw an opening, bang! And the other guy went down. I had blood all over my notes. And
good shot, right?
Good shot. It was, I believe it was a right hand, because the guy had hit him so hard he turned him softball.
Oh, I see.
And so he just, hey, there's an opening, so he threw his right and caught him. And the Perez brothers who promote up here.
Right.
Their younger brother, who's 32, he's a detective in the police force down in Roswell. He turned pro against a young 21-year-old soldier. And what a fight they had.
They throw down?
Oh, phenomenal. That I felt bad in a way for the soldier. He lost a unanimous decision. He would have won 9 times out of 10 with that performance. But this was the 10th time, unfortunately for him, because Perez is like his nephews. He is the real deal.
Yeah, the Perez camp is real good. The fighters are really good. Great ethics, work ethic in the gym. Great athletes.
And a bonus, they're in every aspect now. Jordan Perez's daughters did photos for me, and they did a beautiful job.
Great photographer.
Boy, they were aggressive. They were climbing over and right into the ring after the fighters.
Well, they're in it. They're in it. Listen, we're going to talk more about boxing, man. There's so much to talk about. You know, things are coming down. We got some stuff coming in the future. There's so many things to talk about. I got to ask you. On the next round 2, I want to ask you about your perspective about boxing in New Mexico as we live and breathe today, okay? Because people need to know that. Boxing fans in New Mexico, you didn't know that there's a lot going on. Amateurs, we got to talk about, we just had not the Golden Gloves, the World Championships.
Well, we had the Western Regionals the week before the Golden Gloves.
Right, and they did real well.
Unfortunately, I think it shouldn't have been a week before.
And then they had the World Championships.
They were killing the Golden Gloves.
We're going to talk about that. We'll be back. Round 2, coming back. Thank you.
Our interns here at Proview Sports Network get pretty competitive. Rivalries are real. So with the big matchup between the El Dorado Eagles and the La Cueva Bears, time to make my pick here on the Proview Rundown. I'm going to go with the El Dorado Eagles. You know, I'm going to change my decision, and I'm going to go with the La Cueva Bears. They're feeling it. All right, hey, calm down. Guys, you do it every time. This is ridiculous. You know what? I'm going to be in makeup.
Football's back right here on Proview Sports Network. All the best rivalries, all the best action, every game on Proview Sports Network, Comcast 26, and the game of the week on My 50 TV. Don't forget, every Proview Network sporting event is on sale at our DVD store. Go to www.proviewNetworks.com to buy your DVD today. Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
What do these interns even do on their break, man?
I don't even know. It's probably way too crazy.
Football's back right here on Proview Sports Network. All the best rivalries, all the best action, every game on Proview Sports Network, Comcast 26, and the game of the week on My 50 TV.
Wow, man, this is exciting. Austin Keeling in the house. We're talking boxing. Boxing fans in New Mexico. So much is going on. It's unbelievable. We're going to talk here with Austin Keeling, and a lot of things are coming up. Austin is a big fan of the Golden Gloves, and also he's president of the Boxing Hall of Fame. And we're going to talk about that because, believe it or not, we got a Boxing Hall of Fame, some great inductees this year. We're going to talk about Rocky Burke. We're going to talk about Mayweather. We're going to talk about, McGregor. So tell me about the Hall of Fame, Golden Gloves, all that.
Well, October 28th, we're going to have the Golden Glove banquet at MSD Hotel Suites.
Nice.
And it's a beautiful setting, and it's going to be the nicest setting we've had for the Hall of Fame since we've started. This was the idea of Jerry Martinez, former fighter, graduate of the college here, sharp guy. And I don't want Juan Nunes to think he died, because presently he is the president of the hall, and I take over after the banquet.
Oh, okay, great.
So
great.
He's still alive, and we're really excited. We have 6 inductees. Your contemporary, Mike Adams, Sergio.
Great ring announcer. Great ring announcer.
Sergio Chavez, who's a former amateur fighter. He's a cut man and hand wrap.
Great corner man.
Yep.
He was in Danny Romero's corner.
Yes.
I mean, he is a legend. That's a great one.
Also in Danny Romero's corner was Luis Chavez. He's Sergio's older cousin. He's also going into the Hall of Fame. That's 3. I got to come out. Oh, Charles Poison Anaya.
Oh, from the Anaya family, right?
He's going in. He's number 4, and 2 fighters who have a little more history. Charles Linson from Santa Fe, and down in Las Cruces direction, Earl Large. Earl was.
What year did he fight?
Those 2 fighters, probably in the late 60s, 70s. Linson's a little younger than Earl. Ruben Olivares was a great bantamweight champ, a real bomber. He got upset, lost his title. I wish I can't remember the gentleman who scored the upset. But Earl Large fought that gentleman twice, 2 very close fights. Earl was very, very good. He fought the best. Unfortunately, when he got to the best, he couldn't quite break through the glass ceiling.
Can I ask you, what other former boxers are in the Golden Gloves Hall of Fame? Or, can you mention a few?
Well, here's the other thing. We're trying to straighten out its history.
Okay.
It was kind of crazy all over the place.
Okay.
So Colleen Aycock is, she made a beautiful boxing program. I should have brought it from last year. And we're trying to nail down all the people who've been inducted.
Okay.
And
this is not the New Mexico Hall of Fame.
Yes.
It is. It's the top one, right?
Well, right. The other Hall of Fame, there was some regional Hall of Fames. We're getting them all under the one umbrella.
Okay, great.
And some people think we should have a Golden Gloves Hall of Fame, but it's all across the country. The Hall of Fames and cover everybody. Yeah.
Tell me your opinion. In the history of boxing, to be a Golden Gloves fighter, now USA Boxing has taken over. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think, what's that expression our teachers used to always tell us, if you don't know your history, you'll repeat its mistakes.
Right, sure.
And Golden Gloves started in 1928. One of the Chicago newspapers came up with that idea. And then very shortly after that, New York got under the.
They all picked it up.
And then New York and Chicago had an annual tournament. And then it became a national organization. And Johnny Tapia is a Golden Gloves national champion. So the tremendous history. Joe Louis was another great fighter. And unfortunately, it's being murdered by USA Today. I don't know that it's intentional, but they get the road to the Olympics now is through USA Boxing.
I see.
And they came here last year and had a week-long tournament the week before the Golden Gloves.
Right.
And I thought that was several fighters who
Yes.
would have been in the Golden Gloves, not only here, but Utah and other states. You know, they fought and they had tough fights and just didn't want to go to the gloves.
Right, okay.
And this year, in the Golden Gloves, all 10 divisions went to the regionals without fighting.
I see.
That's sad.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's that. Because when I was being brought up in New Mexico, it was the Golden Gloves, man. You get in the Golden Gloves, you're a bad boy.
Well, Sergio Chavez was a former champion.
Yes.
And he had to fight in regionals just to get to the state championship and then go on to the regionals. from
Wow, that's yeah.
there. So they'd have 6 or 7 fights before they got to the regionals. Last year's team just went to the regionals without a fight. And this year the regionals will be here.
I see. I see.
And we have some very good amateur fighters. Aaron Perez and his brother
Angel.
Well, Aaron is Angel.
Oh yeah, Aaron, yeah, Angel, and then his
Not Angel. He's the third brother. There's the second.
right.
He's very good, and I can't
yes.
think of his name.
The Hammer.
Yeah, but what's his name? It begins with an A. All the Perez children's names begin with an A.
Abraham.
Abraham. Very
That's right.
good.
Yeah, the Hammer. Right. Great fighters.
Very, very talented. Angel recently fought in Eastern Europe, Bulgaria maybe.
Yeah, he went out there. Yeah, he did
Yeah,
real well.
he's-
We had him on the show. We talked about that. It's just that the crop of fighters are coming out of USA now, the young ones. I don't know a lot of them that are in the Golden Gloves at all. You know.
Well, they all amateur fighters will like a shot at the Olympics. Well, another thing that's hurting the Golden Gloves, you have to be 18 when you step into the ring. It used to be you had to be a certain age at the end of the year.
Oh, I see.
But if the Golden Gloves are in March, you better be 18 in March.
Yes. We're going to come back on round 3, and we're going to talk about something very interesting, folks, about the McGregor Mayweather fight that I think you should know about, because Austin brought up a good key point about the fight. They're all talking smack to each other, and everybody's talking about McGregor striking, and they're talking about, you know, Mayweather, he runs and punches and all that. But Austin's got a great point about this technique that you got to check out. Round 3 coming up, our final. We'll be back. Thank you.
Hoops New Mexico Basketball Courts is coming to Albuquerque soon. 10 full basketball courts and a whole lot more. For more information, contact Dan Serrano at hoopsnm@aybl.com.
Our interns here at Proview Sports Network get pretty competitive. Rivalries are real. It's all day with you two. Jeez.
Football's back right here on Proview Sports Network. All the best rivalries, all the best action, every game on Proview Sports Network, Comcast 26, and the game of the week on My 50 TV.
The Barley Room, proud sponsor of Proview Networks for over 9 years, is pleased to introduce Black Iron Catering. From weddings and family reunions to birthdays and office parties, Black Iron Catering is perfect for any event. Contact Jamie at 505-459-8259 and book your event today. Black Iron Catering. Let us bring our kitchen to you.
Visit the Frontier Restaurant. Due to heavy construction on Central, take lead or coal coming north or south. The Frontier Restaurant. Get your Frontier fix on. Gecko's Bar and Tapas, a proud supporter of Proview Networks. It's been a fan favorite spot for food lovers and sports fans. With not one, but two great locations, including outdoor patio, an atmosphere you won't want to miss. Gecko's off Academy and in Nob Hill.
Sure, you could get him a new car. You could also light a pile of money on fire. So maintaining this old car is your best option. Keep it running longer, stronger, with quality parts and a whole lot of Napa know-how.
Round 3, man, this has been a good show. I'm here with Austin Keeling. He is like a wonderful, wonderful knowledge of sports, has his own website, Keeling's Corner. He travels all through New Mexico, amateurs, pros. And we're going to talk about something, Austin, that nobody ever thinks about, okay? Mayweather, McGregor. This is like a freak show they've been talking about, but it's a good show, and everybody, a boxer against this guy. But tell the boxing fans your point of view, what nobody's focusing on.
It's the feet.
The feet.
Boxers don't have to worry about their legs when they fight. So they have the luxury of sitting down on their punches. Basically, you literally put your body weight completely on your leverage your feet when you punch, and there's no risk to your legs because all fighting is done from the waist up.
Okay.
But in the cage, it's totally different. Your legs are targets, or your legs are offensive weapons.
Correct.
And in the cage, you're trained to stay up in the ball of your feet.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay.
So if you've been brushing your teeth for 20 years with your right hand, and tonight I tell you to go brush them with your left.
Right.
Muscle memory is going to fight that.
Muscle memory is going to fight.
It's not going to feel. So in the last 3 months, Colin McGregor has had to learn how to sit down in his punches. Is it possible to do that? Because he's been trained forever to make sure he can move his feet and fast.
Okay.
And I think that's a critical factor. I've seen there's a lot of MMA fighters who box,
right,
but they're primarily MMA fighters. When they get in the boxing ring, they perform well, but they lose their punching power.
Oh, that's what you're talking about.
So they're, it's hard. And Richard Villa, who fought in the Roswell card, he scored a spectacular knockout, and he's a cage fighter, but he knocked out another cage fighter.
Oh, I see. So that was, well, you know what? Cody East just won the Invicta Heavyweight Championship.
Right.
I saw that fight. And in the second round, he trained with Andrew Rivera, over there at Raymond G. Sanchez for a boxing show that was going to be on our
right.
show. It got canceled. He didn't make it. But you know what? I saw his boxing skills in the cage because when he went towards this guy, he started doing this, like a boxer, and he caught him. So his striking was more of a boxing stance. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he caught the guy. He wrecked him, and that does make a lot of sense.
Well,
watch the feet.
And when you do watch the feet, you have to be careful because if you're looking at the rest of the body is coming at you. A good, interesting, Tim Mean was a great name. He trains at the Fit Gym with his wife, Brenda Gonzalez. He spars with Fidel Maldonado's fighter, Ryan Mendoza.
Yes.
And he launched, actually, Tim's not a bad boxer himself, but he spars with Brian because he wants to improve his striking skills. But it's great for Brian because Tim is bigger than Brian.
Okay, so they're helping each other out.
Helping each other. So Brian is forced to deal with height and reach problems that Tim creates for him.
Okay.
and they get along great. No one's trying to show the other one
Right,
up.
but they're teaching off each other.
And they're learning, and if they see each other making some silly mistake, they'll tell each other.
Well, you know, I think it's great when you see a striker box. You know, they change their game. I'll tell you, this weekend with Jones, he can punch. I mean, he's tall for his weight, like Bobby Foster.
Right.
Perfect. You know what I mean? Perfect. You know, long, powerful. You know.
Well, look what his peers pay him compliments that you can't beat. You know, pound for pound.
Yeah, that's.
What else can you say? Everybody wants him because that means they're terrific.
Well, you know, when he got the belt, he brought back a memory. When he got the belt, he said, "You know, I'm back." And I remember when Johnny came and they interviewed him. He says, "It's been a long road, baby. I'm back." And it brought that where I was at. The crowd roared. You know, like when Holly Holmes got Ronda Rousey roared. When Danny Romero won, when all the greats win from that position of it's just a great feeling. Put us on the map again, because I always say we got the toughest fighters in New Mexico, bar none. You know, combat sports. You know.
Interesting. On Saturday night, Joe Rogan got criticized for interviewing Cormier after the fight because he was obviously concussed. And I don't think Rogan wanted to. I think he was told to by the studio. So he apologized right on camera before he even tried to interview Cormier. And you could see Cormier was emotionally destroyed.
You saw that,
Yeah.
and that's bad for a boxer or a fighter.
Can they come back after this? Because they were talking about the rivalry, and Cormier is extremely honest. He said, "What rivalry? I'm 0-2.
Yeah, spoken like a warrior. You know.
And in the last pay-per-view, they were booing Jones, and Cormier was in the studio. No, he was in the ring. I think he won a fight. He said, "Why are you booing this man? He's a tremendous fighter. I don't like him, but I'll admit he's a tremendous." And I thought that was classy.
Right. You've got to respect their skills. You know, you just, you know.
As bad as Cormier wanted to get the best of Jones, those are twice now I've heard him make real great comments sportsmanship-wise.
Well, you know, Austin, I want to thank you, you know, for being on. You know, you're our consultant, go-to guy. I told you I'll call you periodically because you do cover a lot of the areas that I don't cover, and you know the boxing, the background in boxing. I want to thank you. We want you back again. You know, and you're on ESPN Sports with Mike Adams. You're going to be doing the Golden Gloves Hall of Fame. What date?
It's the Hall of Fame, pro, amateur, everything.
Everything.
Yeah, Golden Gloves is part of it.
And it's going to be at the Crown?
So it's going to be at the Embassy Suites Hotel on October 28th from 6 to 10.
Wait, can you pick up tickets?
Yes. Tomorrow morning there's going to be in the journal my address, my email, and they can contact me. My blog hopefully will have a story by tomorrow.
Nice. I want to thank you, my man. You always come through. Want to thank all of you boxing fans in New Mexico. That's how we roll. You know what? Austin Child, boom, he's going to bring it. I'll tell you what, we got Jones, man, we're so proud of you. Cody East, we're proud of you. All the fighters, amateur and pro, we love the state. We got a great vast amount of talent from MMA to boxing. And I got to tell you something, we got the toughest fighters in the world, bar none. If you don't believe it, bring it. And you know what? Round 3 is over. We want to thank you very much. Remember, boxing fans, keep your chin down and keep on swinging. We'll catch you next time. Thank you.